All right, I figured I'd do a quick review on this BadBoy blaster that I recently purchased. I actually purchased it to replace a Eastwood 110 pot blaster, which I used for a couple years actually. Wasn't a bad blaster, this one here, but some of the components on it are kind of cheap. Was going through, wearing through the hose in the bottom, and had a few other issues. Wear parts were just going left and right. So I'm not quite sure if this was a huge upgrade or not. It's got a little bit better of a tank though, the way it's shaped at the bottom. But I'm going to tell you some of the things that I didn't like right off the bat on it that caused me a problem on my first day when I got moisture. I never had a problem with moisture on this Eastwood, and I'll tell you why this one here ended up getting all kinds of moisture and preventing any kind of media from coming out the bottom. The issue with the moisture is actually this air regulator, excuse me, and water separator. You'll see the model number here. And I did a little research on it. And I said, I don't have a moisture issue at all with my other one, so it's got to be something with this pot blaster. Sure enough, this right here, I was never even having to empty it. So water was getting into this system and obviously getting into the tank due to this. Now, if you look this up and you look up the part number, you're going to find out that this regulator itself, it's $9, made in China, and probably cheaper than any one you'll find at Harbor Freight. So this expensive unit here from BadBoy might be giving you a air regulator and water separator, but it's not worth the flip. So one of the big reasons I'm doing this video is if anybody is purchasing this pot blaster, this pressure blaster itself, I highly suggest you take this regulator and take it off and throw it in the garbage as soon as you get it. Now, I contacted BadBoy and told them I was having an issue, and their response was asking me if I had an air dryer in my compressor system, and I had to let them know that I've been doing blasting for many years. I've never had a problem. That wasn't the issue. The issue was the cheap components that they put on this $1,500 pot blaster. But as far as the components on this, obviously I haven't used this thing but for one day in which it malfunctioned on me because of the moisture, but it does well. It does the same job as the Eastwood, but I think the components are better on this, and I think the tank is better on this BadBoy than the Eastwood. So I think these components will last longer. Now you'll probably notice the unit I got does not have a dead man's valve. Instead, I use this boron carbide nozzle that I upgraded to, and I did that through BadBoy company. What I did tell him was, yeah, I wanted to upgrade it, and I wanted to have this on there because I can't stand the dead man valves, and I hate having to hold the lever the whole time while I'm blasting. So I upgraded, but I did tell him 2 times, maybe 3 times, hey, look, I am upgrading to this nozzle. However, please send me that dead man valve in case something ever happens to this. At least I have a backup, because I am purchasing this unit for whatever the price was. I forget now, $1,200–1,300. But I upgraded to this, and I still wanted to have what the unit came with. They disregarded that altogether, even though they assured me they'd send me that dead man's valve. I wrote to them about it, and they didn't even respond. So they ignored me, and I don't think they have any plans on sending me that dead man's valve. Now, as far as this nozzle, yeah, I like it. Is it worth $200? No, not at all. If you research it, you can probably get it for $50, and you already know that ball valve right there can be purchased at any hardware store for, I don't know, $10, $15. So I don't suggest that you do like I did and spend the $200 out of laziness. I suggest you go ahead and have them send you the whole unit with the dead man's valve, because you know at least you'll get it that way. And then when you get it, go ahead and online and purchase yourself maybe this nozzle, and go to your local hardware store or whatever and get that valve. And you'll save about $150. So this is the air regulator that I use. I use it on my airlines in the shop. I use it on my my old Eastwood pressure blaster. It's from Pneumatic Plus. Yeah, they're about $67 to $70 wherever you look. Definitely not a $9 regulator, but they work. I mean, I'm constantly, not constantly, but probably every 4 or 5 hours having to go ahead and let some of the water out of the bottom of it. But that's a good sign. It means that water separator is actually working, unlike your Chinese $9 one that they put on this expensive unit. So I'd highly recommend you putting this on if you do purchase one of these pot blasters from BadBoy, because the one that's on there now, and I can almost guarantee after this video goes out, and even though I've told the owner exactly what the problem was and he didn't seem to care, he's actually telling me that they upgraded to this one. So I don't know what one they had before that they said wasn't working and why they went to this $9 one, but I cannot possibly find a cheaper air regulator anywhere on the internet than this one right here. I mean, if there's a $5 one, I'd like to see it, but this $9 one's junk, absolutely garbage, and does not trap any moisture and water whatsoever. So get rid of that, and chances are, I'll bet you after this video that BadBoys will be like, you know what, we better get rid of it now, just to prove a point. So be careful though, because if they do, based on the mentality of them and what they did and how they've kind of communicated with me on this issue, I'm assuming that they will probably upgrade it, but they're going to go with probably a $10 or a $12 one, just with a different name. But again, I would recommend making sure that you go with this. Don't listen to the reply that they give you saying you need these all fancy $1,000 air dryers and stuff for your compressor system. It's not that. You need a good water separator on your regulator. That's all you need. But anyway, as far as the pressure blaster goes, I think it's going to be decent with the right setup. Is it worth the money? I don't know. Definitely wasn't worth it me upgrading with the $200 nozzle that I could have got for $50, but it is what it is. I think it's a step up from the Eastwood. That Eastwood's about $700. Truthfully, you could probably modify that one and save yourself a lot of money over this, but this does have a better tank with the cone-shaped bottom there that supposedly helps with the flow of the media and everything else. And the hose and some of the other lines are better quality on this BadBoy. But just wanted to give you a really good, thorough review, an honest one, and let you know about some of the components, how to save a little bit of money, and what to switch out as soon as you get this thing. But that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something if you do end up purchasing this BadBoy.